Alright, what's going on everyone? I'm Zero and welcome back to Zero 2, where today I've got a super exciting deck profile for you. This is a deck profile I've been working on for about a year now, and I've been tinkering, toying around with it, really trying to make sure everything meshes well together, and I think I finally got a brew I'm excited to share with you all. So without further ado, let's just jump into it and see how it goes. So starting off with the core of the engine, we're going to start with the Prank Kids. The Prank Kids form the core of this deck. You might remember these guys being meta a few years back. And they still hold a lot of power. They all summon each other from the deck. They all synergize really nicely together, grabbing each other, getting the whole combo started. So we're maxing out on the copies of these, playing 3 of each of the names, and then 3 copies of Place. Now, we do also have to play 3 copies of Prankit's Pandemonium as well, the fusion spell, because it's a lot harder to get everything started nowadays. And then the main payoff for the Prank Kids engine is the Prank Kids Pranks. Summons a token, absolutely crazy card. The Prank Kids engine just does a ton of great stuff, puts a lot of bodies on the board, gets you a lot of material, goes up into its main stuff, just super, super strong in general. So maxing out essentially on all the Prank Kids we can play. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because there's a lot to talk about with this deck. The combos are really, really intricate, so we'll want to make sure we save ourselves enough time to talk over all those when we get there. And we are already on to our next engine because it's a pretty beefy Prank Kids package. This next package is a bit more tight, and you might be more familiar with it. It's a bit more modern and meta, and we're playing the Wanted Simple Spoils Diabellstar package. We're playing 3 Diabellstar, 3 Wanted, and the coup de grace 3 Deception of the Simple Spoils. So this engine's in here, gives you the Omni Negate. I think no one really needs too much of a explanation on why these cards are good. They can tribute monsters from hand or field, put cards in the graveyard, and then get out your Omni Negate with relative ease while also giving you bodies. Absolutely crazy for the deck. So we've got the Prank Kids engine, we've got the Deception engine, and last but certainly not least, we've got the Tricks engine, as I'll call it. So we're playing 3 copies of Hollow, the Spirit of Tricks, and 3 searchers for that, Halloween. We're not playing the Ween because that's the Spirit of Treats, not Tricks, and we've got really all we need is the Tricks part of this. We're also on a mini Trickstar package of Candina, Lightstage, and Korribane, just to give us some extra bodies on the board. And then we're also playing the Scylla Hat Trick, which we can search off of. We'll jump to our extra deck real quick and show it off, the Scylla Hat Rabbit that we're playing, because we put so many bodies on the board. This just searches Trick, which is a pop for 2 cards, which is really crazy if you have the rabbit on the board. The Trick Stars are all really good at putting bodies on the board for link fodder. They can really go up into the Scylla Hat Rabbit very easily. And then the Hollow is just nice in there as a way to round out the deck and give it some nice consistency. Being able to search this at 6 copies is always nice. But that's the main. It's 40 cards. We kind of blew through it, but it's super, super simple. Moving on to the extra deck. For the Prank Kids, we're playing 2 Doodle Doo, 2 Rocket Ride. Those are 2 of the best ones. And then we're on 1 of Weather Washer, Foul Bark, Battle Butler, and Roarin' Roaster. They all do some various things, adding Prank Kids back, summoning back Prank Kids, recurring your Prank Kids. This is a Brigeki, this is a Heavy Storm. Absolutely crazy part of the engine, absolutely what you're looking to go into. I want Meow Moo, because this card is nuts. Gotta be playing it if you're playing Prank Kids. No reason to play the tech if there's no Meow Moo, am I right? And then moving on for the Asmina stuff, we've got the Mu Resliago, we got the Ilya Silva, the standard. You only just play the 2 because you get the Mu as the body to go in for link material, and then the Ilya Silva is the Omni Negate. And then for the Trick Stars, we're on Trickstar Bloom, which is the link one, and then 2 link 2s of Trickstar Black Cat and Trickstar Holly Angel. And then, like I said, the Scylla Hat Rabbit to round out the lineup. That's the extra deck. Super straightforward. Not too much to talk about. Again, I think the combos are where things get really interesting with this deck. So we'll go ahead and show you the 3 main combos you can do with this deck, because these cards all synergize insanely well. The first combo is kind of your bread and butter, and the craziest part is it works with any 5 cards. So we'll just shuffle up real quick, and then go ahead and just draw a test hand so I can kind of explain how you would play it out in any given situation. And this deck can really do really well going first and second, which is what I like about it. There's like a going first specific combo that I'll explain in a second. But it's just really powerful in general. So our starting hand would look something like Lampsies, Place, Roxy's, Hollow, and Silhouette. So nice and diverse. We see our pranks, we see our tricks. So what we would do in this spot here, going first or second, again, it doesn't really matter. First action, regardless of whether it's our turn or not, we're going to take our hand and throw it at our opponent. And they're going to freak out. Hopefully your cards go off the table is the idea. And then your opponent will likely try and help you out, try and pick up your cards. And what you will do in that scenario is instead of trying to pick up your hand yourself, you'll take your deck and then swap it out for your opponent's deck, draw their 5-card starting hand, and then now you're playing a good deck. So that's kind of the core bread and butter combo, is take the hand, throw it, and then steal your opponent's deck while they're distracted. I found that that's most consistent if you can punt this hand at their face, like if you just really chuck it hard. I would say that that is the ideal way, because that really distracts your opponent. They're going to be kind of freaking out, and in all honesty, it's the most consistent way I found to combo off. But again, it works with any 5 cards, which is crazy. First or second, doesn't really matter. It's pretty consistent to get off. Now, there are scenarios where that might not work, so there is another combo that I want to show off real quick, and it's a simple one. It's a 1-card combo. Any Prank Kid is this next combo. So what you do, it's kind of similar to the last combo, but what you're going to do is you're going to normal summon the Prank Kid. Again, it can be any name. You're then going to link it off for the Prank Kid's Meow Moo, the link one. It is at this point your opponent will likely tell you that Meow Moo is banned. And this is true. Meow Moo is banned in the TCG. But this is to our benefit, because what you're going to do is you're going to get up and you're going to throw a massive stink. You're going to yell at your opponent. You're going to tell them call a judge. They're going to want to go leave, get a judge. They'll go do that. Make them go get the judge. You never go up and get the judge. You just act angry. You act confused. Do whatever you can to confuse your opponent enough in order to get them to turn around, maybe ask for a judge. It's ideal if the judge is behind your opponent so that they have to look away, because again, as soon as they do that, as soon as they go for the judge, you go bam. Swap the decks. Now you're playing a good deck. Again, same kind of combo. This time you'll want to make sure you take the rest of your hand and kind of slide it back on top of this deck, because again, you're going to be drawing a full new hand of 5 cards from your opponent's deck. And that's kind of the key, because additionally, no one has any synergy with any cards in this deck. So no matter what 5-card can your opponent has, they're not going to be able to search anything anymore, because they're playing with Prank Kid's pile with tricks cards in it. They're certainly not going to be able to combo. And then the last one is kind of similar, but it's got to be either Lampsies or Dropsies. And once again, it's these two. So this one works if you open one of these two. We'll do Dropsies for this example, because we already showed Lampsies. But Dropsies, it's kind of the same as the last one, but again, there's a slight deviation. So you go ahead and normal summon the Dropsies. You'll link it off for the Meow Moo. And at this point, you're going to trigger the Dropsies effect, a special summon from deck. This works if your opponent doesn't know Meow Moo's banned. Maybe they think this is Master Duel, and they won't try and challenge your Meow Moo. But in any case, you go Dropsies to summon from deck, and that will gain you 1,000 life points. If you did the Lampsies, it would burn your opponent instead. And then this next point is crucial. This is something I picked up from a YCS champion. You are to then stare at your opponent directly in the face and wait 45 minutes. You do not do anything else. You look at them 45 minutes, basically challenge them to a staring contest. I found that could be effective, just to make sure that they stay at the table, don't leave, don't get a judge, don't do any of that, and then you just stare at them. At the end of the time, you're either up 1,000 or you've burnt them for 500, and you win the match because you have won the game. Super simple. Works only if you're going first, though, which is why it's a bit less consistent than the hand throw. But all in all, a good combo to know. This is one you want to have in your back pocket, so that way you can beat your opponents in time. This especially works well at like large events like YCSs, where it's hard for your opponent to go get a judge, or they might not want to get up. Maybe they're tired and just want to leave. So these combos work best when your opponent is not interested in getting a judge, kind of tired, doesn't really want to play the game. Super effective. And again, it's nice to have options for the Meow Moo if your opponent knows or doesn't know it's banned. That being said, though, happy April Fools to everyone. If this wasn't already obvious, I just thought this would be funny. I don't know if it's actually that funny, but I saw the prank cards and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I have deception cards, I have trick cards. So Super silly deck list. Obviously, don't do any of this. Konami, if you're listening, don't snitch, don't narc. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll be back with better real content hopefully soon. But I just wanted to put this out because I came up with the idea and thought it'd be silly. But I'll see you all in the next one. Go ahead and like, subscribe, do whatever. Probably not for this video, but have a good one. Bye.